What's up, Bills fans? We are back with another Buffalo Fanatics film session live. I'm your co-host, Clay Troy, and over here is
Kendall Mursky. How is everyone doing? A little bit better this week, I hope. We actually put together a good, complete game against a team that we were supposed to do that against. So feels nice. I hope everyone's getting ready for a little bit more positive film session.
Yes, much more positive than last week. Hopefully we don't have to go an hour and 45 minutes again.
I don't think we'll have to,
because we were just complaining last time. There's so much to talk about. So
yeah.
This is going to be a lot more fun to watch. There might be like 3 negative plays, maybe 4 that we're even going to talk about at all. So going to be a lot of fun. New time slot as well. We're now going to be in the Wednesday 8 time slot. We're probably going to start closer to 8:15 most days, just because Kendall is a little bit busy. He's West Coast and stays busy till about 5 over there. So we're probably going to start a little bit more toward 8:15. We'll kind of play it out a little bit, but we'll make sure to keep you up guys updated on Twitter on that as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to watch the game live at all? I know that's usually
no, it's never an easy thing. So this one, the game I was charting was a little bit less stressful, so I had some more time to actually watch the Bills game while I was working. So that was nice. Definitely more so than the Jaguars game last week, but I haven't gotten a really full deep dive, full rewatch. I haven't gotten that. So I'm excited to see the clips that you pulled this week. I really am. I mean, I think there's only one more week that I'm going to need you to pull clips for me, maybe 2 more. But either way, it's kind of exciting to get the live reaction to see what exactly you picked and how I feel about those plays. Because obviously we definitely overlap in what we usually want to pick at the end of the day. But it's always interesting to see what your eyes see and what mine see.
Right. Yeah. And it is pretty funny how, so you usually, after the game or as we're starting to watch the film for it, we're always, messaging each other, making sure that no one's taking the other one's,
yes,
categories
always.
Or clips or anything. And there's always at least 1 or 2 plays where it's like, I wanted that play, man, damn it. But so I think I'm pretty happy with the plays that we're going to look at. Some of you are going to be mad about one of the topics, I think, just because people are going to be like, why are we talking about this? We won. But anyway, we're going to talk about it anyway, because it's my show. It's our show. We get to choose. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much for showing up. I see a ton of familiar faces in here. Zach King, Chris S., Richard Rush, the real Chris Janke in the house, Don Keith as well. Buff Barrier. Thank you, everyone, for being in here. We appreciate it. We already got 25 in here, so we appreciate you guys waiting and being so patient with us today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shall we jump right into it?
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's do it. All right. So we're going to start with the MVP. Who else but Josh Allen? He had a really, really good game, and there's a lot of reasons for it, and we're going to discuss some of those reasons later on and kind of dig into a little bit more. But Josh Allen himself also had a hell of a game. He was throwing the ball all over the field and just looking really, really good. So let's take a look at some of the plays that he had. And this is a fairly early play, I believe. I think this one's closer toward the first quarter, second quarter. But what I really like here mostly is the drop back and then the step up. Dawson Knox on the edge there actually doing a really good job of taking care of this edge defender. He almost looks like a tackle over there. So good on Dawson Knox for getting that nice block. But he still kind of lets him into the pocket a little bit, so Josh has to climb up, and he does so very well, protecting that football on his way up. And then before the pressure can get there, he fits it into the tightest of windows to get it down to Emmanuel Sanders downfield. This is just really good timing, and you could really see from that end zone angle the zip that he puts on the ball to get it through this window. What are your thoughts on this one?
There's a lot to break down on this play in terms of the macro of what's going on this play, because micro, you look at it, you're like, wow, great route by Sanders to, stem it towards the inside and then break it out, settle in that soft spot of the zone, and then Josh doing his thing in the pocket. But I think the unsung hero of this play is really just the play action. The play action, the under center, all of that. It's been the talking point of the week. It allows Josh to do things that he couldn't do from shotgun, because the play action from shotgun is, it's useful in its own situations, but it's very different from under center play action, because you see the entire left side of the defensive line and offensive line just completely get flushed out of this. And it's really just two pass rushers that Josh has to deal about once he's at his depth of drop and that drop back. And when Josh only has to deal with one guy in his face, I have full confidence in him. He hung in there, he made the throw, he took the hit afterwards. But, when he's got two guys, it's a different story. I just, the confidence, the whole thing, it puts him in a better situation. I'm not saying we need to make our offense, the Browns, Baker Mayfield type of offense where it's like all play action or anything, but this has got to become a more typical thing from the offense, because it works. And we saw that this Sunday.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that more in depth too, about play action and kind of the effect that has on the defense. And to be honest, I wanted, Josh Allen, in my opinion, was the MVP of the game. So I wanted to get Josh Allen clips, but I also wanted to talk about the play action. So it's like, okay, well, all these Josh Allen clips are also going to be play action for the most part. So, but yeah, there's so much to love about this play too. And I think one of my favorite parts is Josh is releasing the ball about right here. And this is like a timing route. And usually you throw this ball before the wide receiver is looking back, but Josh Allen has such a strong arm. Emmanuel Sanders is already looking back right now, kind of going into that gap a little bit, and Allen is still able to zip it. There's like a 20 air yard throw here at least, about 23, 24 almost.
Between three jets too.
Yeah, in the window that he squeezes that in with the velocity that he has is just really impressive. And, I think he's almost best when he's running around to setting his feet. He can run to the right all day and throw the football on the run to the right. But sometimes when he steps up in the pocket like that and is moving a little bit, the ball just comes out of his hand so much more efficiently. And I don't understand why. But yeah, really, really awesome throw here. And this end zone angle really, really does it justice on how fast that thing gets there. That is just an absolute rope.
Yeah.
I saw Chris S. saying that Brown missed his block here, and that's correct. He does kind of miss his block a little bit. It's not too damning in my opinion. The kind of the scheme of it is to make it look like it's a zone read. Yeah. His guy doesn't bite on it and kind of shoves him away. So he overcommitted a little bit there. Brown did, but it's not that one wasn't the end of the world for me.
Yeah.
Next play here, another play action play. And there's two reasons to like this one. First of all, it's a beautiful throw down the sideline, but I really love the pump fake and the timing of the pump fake on this one, because he's looking right now, and it could be an option route. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because this is something that he and Diggs have connected on many times before. So, he's right here, he's getting both of these guys who are both just staring him down more than anything to hesitate. And it's a one high safety look. So if both of these guys down here are hesitating, that's very good news for the pump and go. And he immediately pulls back, and he's got Diggs open down the sideline, and just a beautiful rainbow pass in there.
Yeah, Diggs really doesn't even do a whole lot on this route. It's just like a quick stutter there. But yeah, Josh really sells it. You can see all the defenders' eyes on him. At that point, you kind of know it's zone. And once you know it's zone and all the eyes are on him, you can manipulate those DBs. And he does it with the simple pump fake, and Diggs gets right behind him. Because, yeah, like I said, Diggs didn't do a whole lot there. A lot of that play was made by the pump fake from Allen. And, yeah, Diggs is just free on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, to be able to also fantastic catch by Diggs too, full extension just from his arms there to catch it like that. He's really, really good at that. But yeah, the way the ball just drops right into where he's going. These guys have such good chemistry with each other. And it's good to kind of see that chemistry show again, because I feel like we haven't really seen it that much this season, where as last year, these guys were connecting every week, and it just every week they were making a play where it was like, man, these guys are in sync. So it was really cool to see them kind of get that momentum back.
I gotta say, I feel like something we don't talk about a lot with Josh Allen is his ability to reload after that pump fake.
Yeah.
He's just like he's so quick with it. Like I feel like there are a lot of comparisons between Josh Allen and young Ben Roethlisberger, but I mean, this is probably another one.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability to pump fake and reload quickly and then get it off. That's an example right there. This play. I mean, it's really not an easy thing to do. Obviously, you got to have the big hands, but you also have to have like the upper body strength to reload that quickly and then make a nice, accurate throw.
Right. And not only an accurate throw, but an accurate throw 30 yards downfield, where you've just kind of, he like turns his hips a little bit. So he's already like kind of fired the hip a little bit. And then he reloads quickly and is still able to just flicker the wrist 30
I didn't
yards.
even notice that until you said the hip work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so incredible. I mean, his velocity. This one I wanted to include as well, and because I think this is something that we've kind of been missing. And I tweeted about this one as well because I was just so in awe when it happened. And the timing and sleight of hand that he has on this jet sweep is so perfect. The way it's hard to tell who has the ball because he's so good at doing
I just
these
took
little
3 takes.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he turns around right at the snap, McKenzie is perfectly on him so that by the time he has the ball behind him, McKenzie is right there to meet him. And that's really hard to do, especially with a guy that's as fast as McKenzie. To learn that timing and get it so perfectly like that is very difficult. And I think I put the this angle is so good. He doesn't have to break stride at all. And that's so important on these jet sweeps is he needs to be able to keep that speed all the way across. Or if he was one step shorter, Mosley probably could have got him over there on the sideline. But because he doesn't have to hesitate at all, he can just jet it right around and get into the end zone.
I mean, there's not much for me to add in terms of like the timing aspect of it all because it is really nuts and it's literally perfect, like silky smooth timing. But this is what I was thinking, and Chris put it in the chat. If he handed the ball off to the running back, this play is just beautifully designed and executed. It just works perfectly. Everyone on the right side flows even further to the right because you gotta account for McKenzie on the jet sweep. And then there's a massive opening behind I think that's CJ Mosley, and Zach Moss would have walked right into the end zone. So
and
yeah,
even
it's pretty funny.
Even if Mosley doesn't run with McKenzie, you've still got a lineman between you guys to block Mosley, and then if Moss cuts inside on the inside of that block, that's still a touchdown. And it's also Moss. He can take a little bit of contact. If he takes contact at the 3, he can probably still get into the end zone there. But yeah, and that's what the jet sweep does, and we haven't seen it much this season. Those are the kind of things that really opens up your defense when you have the speed to go side to side on the field like that. We talked about it last week. Yes, that is Bucker. Thank you. Thank you. In the encyclopedia, the Buffalo Fanatics Encyclopedia. Yes, it is Ike Bucker there leading the way. But yeah, the side to side speed is something that the Bills have been missing so far this season. And things like this, it's all about affecting the linebackers, and it does it just so well.
Yeah, we saw it a decent amount like this. I know obviously we got the touchdown off the jet sweep, but like there were probably 3 or 4 other jet sweep actual designs where it got to McKenzie, right? I'm not making that up.
I think McKenzie had 2 jet sweeps. Sanders had an end around kind of a.
He had an end around, right?
I don't know if McKenzie had a third or not. I know that he had 2, and they were both at about the same place in the field. They ran this almost same exact play later on in the game, and he couldn't quite get past CJ Mosley on that one. I think that was Spencer Brown's fault on that one. He didn't. Oh, I guess it was a different play because Spencer Brown was pulling on the other one.
At the end of the day, as long as we're trying to stretch defenses laterally, or at least showing that we can and putting it on film, that's really all I care about. Like, yeah, I know we did it against the Jets and it, might not hold as much weight, but I mean, this is a really valuable part of our offense, and seeing the wrinkle of, oh, what if we fake it to McKenzie and give it to Moss there? Like that's the wrinkle. That's what we leave on the table for weeks to come. So it's nice to see we're adding this to our offense, and we're adding it so late in the season where it really could yield some dividends.
Absolutely. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog in the background. I don't know how well this noise cancellation is, but she's dreaming. So last Josh Allen play, I believe. And this one's just, I mean, I just wanted to put it in because it looked good. Another play action play. He gets out into the open space. He steps up and he's just slinging it. He's just throwing it down the field to his buddy Steph. It's not like directly on a line where Diggs doesn't break stride or anything like that, but it's still fast enough to not allow that one high safety to get over top. First of all, Diggs does a good job of getting those safeties hips pointing in the way that he wants them, really with just one jab step. So, it's just a pretty play. And this was late in the game too. This was like a dagger play where it was, the Bills were already up probably by 3 scores. And they just said, let's just keep going, which I love, especially in a division game. If you can score more points, score more points. If it's not the fourth quarter yet, we can score a few more times before we put in Davis Webb. Like, why not? Let's get Diggs some more touches.
I was pretty upset by how long they had the starters in, I'll be honest. Either way, no, this play reminds me a lot of that like deep post route against the Raiders last year.
Yes.
The one where he made that ridiculous catch over Eric Harris, I think it was. It's just really nice setup by Diggs, but then like there's still, I think that's a corner coming back to try and undercut that cover 3. I don't even know if that's a cover 3 or just a blown coverage, but either way, like he's trying to get back in position on that side of the field. And I mean, if Josh floats it any more than he does, there's a chance that he could undercut that and probably not pick it off, but probably get a hand on it and force an incompletion. But because of Josh's arm strength, the accuracy, the combination, it's just a match made in heaven. It's nice.
How do you know? Do you just like know this stuff? Do you just have a photographic memory, Chris? Every time I ask any question or I'm unsure about something, Chris is always there. He's got my back.
That's what he does, man.
But yeah, it does kind of look like maybe a botched cover 3-7 going back. I'm sure Chris knows his name. But it kind of looks like he maybe was supposed to drift back. You got 2 guys that are in a similar zone as each other.
That's Bryce Hall. I wanted Bryce Hall.
Which one? 3-7 or the guy that got torched here?
37. I could be wrong though. This is where Chris comes in.
Yeah. But actually, I don't know. That guy comes from way underneath. Is that a linebacker, man? Who is that?
I don't know.
It's a linebacker, but regardless, it does look like it was a blown cover 3 because I can't imagine they're just going to leave that deep half of the field open. But good read by Josh in that case to see that there's no one over there and that he can get it into Diggs. But yeah, great play there, Josh Allen. Hell of a game. We're going to talk about it a little bit more.
I did it. I did a number with a name.
I also wanted to talk about the offensive line a little bit. We're going to do a wellness check, check in on our old pal. They weren't looking so good last week, so we want to make sure that they're doing okay. And really, we're going to see play action again. But this is a play. I think the most impressive thing to me was how well the offensive line improved in the run game. And I think play calling had a lot to do with that as well. And this is an example of that. Because this is a pitch play. Oh, I went back too far. This is a pitch play where everyone is kind of sweeping out to the side. We saw this a couple times. And the reason I like this play so much is because if Devin Singletary decides not to drop the ball for no reason right here, he has got quite a lane to run through. I mean, you got Deion Dawkins hat on a hat with Mosley. You got Reggie Gilliam going up against a cornerback. And then, so there's a good kick out there by Dawkins to throw him out of the way. Gilliam, I don't know if he would have missed that, but it doesn't matter because Morse is there too.
Free.
You have so many blockers out in front of you and then nothing but an empty sideline to run down. It's one of those plays where in the moment, I didn't even realize how the blocking was or the potential that this play had. I was just worried because Devin Singletary just dropped the ball for no reason. Luckily, it was a favorable bounce for him to get back right away. But yeah, I think this was maybe a touchdown. I mean, the nearest guy you got that can make the play at this point is 3.5, and he's got to take a really solid angle to hit Devin wherever he would be on the sideline at this point. So, and then don't even get me started on if this was Matt Breida. That's a guaranteed touchdown on this play.
That's a guaranteed.
So,
touchdown.
And we see something similar with Matt Breida later on. So, but yeah, just the movement from everyone here, the athleticism that the line's showing off. I love when Deion Dawkins gets the opportunity to pull because he shows off that he is pretty athletic for a big dude. And he's able to get out there and block probably the number one guy that you want to point out whenever you're running a play like this. And that's the captain of their defense over there. So Yeah, I was just really, really pleased with this, and they're straying away a little bit from that zone read where it's a hat on a hat win your battle. Where this is more of a strategic run play where you can get out there and get moving a little bit. And I think at this point, these guys are a lot better blocking down the field when they're pulling as opposed to they were, last year when they were doing it and in the zone read as well.
I don't want to be negative about this because this is a good play. I get really frustrated with how often we're trying to get to the edge with Singletary and Moss.
Mm-hmm.
This is well designed. Like I kind of agree with you in what we're saying and what you're saying on how like getting them out, pulling them into space. Like we have good athletes on this offensive line, but for whatever reason, technically winning in a phone booth is not something they can do consistently. So, I mean, this is a way to kind of mitigate that deficiency in a way. But I mean, with the kind of runners that we have in Singletary and Moss, I'd like to see more of that winning between the tackles kind of stuff. This is a run I want to see with Matt Breida. This is exclusively something I would like to see done with Matt Breida. Obviously, you kind of need tendency breakers. You need to show that Singletary and Moss can do this kind of thing too to keep defenses honest.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like as great as this is, I want to see them winning, like I said, between the tackles because, Singletary's got that shady in him. He's got that little shady kind of elusiveness where he can make people miss even between the tackles. And we know how Moss is as power back in between the tackles. So, I mean, this is a great play. I shouldn't be taking anything away from it, but like this has been a bugaboo of mine since last year, since we started doing all that outside zone stuff. And it's like, we don't have anyone that can break contain on the edge. So now that we have Breida, I'm okay. Like, Anthony of Cover One's been talking a lot about free Breida. If they don't, we riot, all that stuff. I mean, after the game he had this week, we kind of need to see more Breida.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to be active more often. And I think a running back by committee with 3 guys, I have zero problems with that. Even if you take away that special team spot for Taiwan Jones, Matt Breida played special teams last year for the Dolphins, and he did it pretty well. He can make tackles and run down the field.
That's literally all we need to see. If he can make a tackle on punt team, I think we're good.
Yeah, and so, I love Taiwan Jones. I think he's great. But we have a lot of guys that take up roster spots just to be on special teams. And I think if there's a guy like Matt Breida who can bring you an extra little spark on offense and can play the special teams role, you got to take advantage of that. So,
agreed.
Maybe they see something on special teams that we don't. Obviously, we can't see them practice. So maybe they're not comfortable with him doing it. But I think it's fine. I think you can go ahead and do it, especially since I want to see Matt Breida run plays like this.
Yeah.
This is another play with I wanted to do a pass block play as well. That wasn't this is play action first of all, but I wanted to do a pass play just to kind of see how protection was. And really it's play action, sure, but it's pretty standard. Really, the only guy that you got moving over here is Darrell Williams, which I do like. I do like when they kind of add that extra little change up to the pass blocking game, because that helps as well. If it's another thing where it's like, well, we don't know if we can win hat on a hat every rep. So what can we do to try to change that? What can we do to try to get our guys in a more favorable position to win their rep? And in this case, they said, well, we're going to send Darrell Williams on a pull to the outside. Spencer Brown gets stepped on and he's down like immediately. So we're not even blocking with the full offensive line. And Josh still has enough time on this drop back off play action to step up in the pocket, look around, find his deep guy and make the throw. And that's all we need from this offensive line. That is all the time we need. If Josh has the amount of time to look, step up and look to his deep guy, then that's enough. That's all the time we need, because he's making a play down to Gabe Davis.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, this is how you get the shot play open. It's so much harder to do this off of shotgun play action. It's not as much of a threat to the defense. What were you gonna say though? I cut you off a little bit.
I have no idea.
All right, I'll keep going on my soapbox. What I like about this, specifically, you talked about how you like the little wrinkle, the change up of Darrell Williams pulling. I like it because it sells the run so much harder.
Yes.
Like anytime you see an offensive lineman pulling, your first thought as a linebacker is like, okay, follow the pulling pulling guard. It will lead me to the designed run gap. Like you do that, everyone's thinking run a little bit more. I mean, Mosley is playing this so well. Mosley is like not deterred at all. He's like, fuck this. This is a pass.
This was also later in the game play. So he had seen quite a few play actions at this point, and he was done getting fooled, I guess.
But anyways, everyone else, I mean, the other two linebackers, or at least the guys at that level, they're fooled enough. Like you could get one right over their heads. Even that safety to the well, I guess right of Mosley got pulled in a little bit, and that's what created the window for Gabe Davis over there. Yeah, I can't stop talking about the play action. It's just these are my live reactions. I can't stop it. I love what we're able to do off the play action. But really it's all created by the offensive line movement, and then that offensive line movement creates a much easier pocket for Josh Allen to operate from. I mean, without that pulling guard, you know, there's a little bit of indecisiveness, like you said, because this is so late in the game. They're all kind of second guessing, like, oh, okay, shot play, run play. What is it going to be? Everyone's kind of second guessing their read steps a little bit. So you get a little bit more time in that pocket. You know, this is what the play action does. It creates that pocket, and I'm just going again. I can't stop with the play action. Either way, great pocket. Well done by everyone. Like you said, still a man down with Spencer Brown out of that play and still getting the job done. Did add Sweeney and Knox to the mix. So
he never took a play off, Spencer, did he?
Not that I know
he
of.
Got like punched in the ankle like that. That doesn't look bad. Like it felt
he
good.
Goes down and immediately starts pointing at his left knee. Yeah. You're right. I mean, he definitely gets hit right there in the ankle. Ooh, it's twisted bad. But
I'm glad he's okay. I hope he doesn't show up on the injury report with an ankle, but
yeah, not
great. Dawson Knox and Tommy Sweeney too, also doing a good job taking care. So, you know, sometimes it takes two tight ends to be one offensive tackle, but it works in this case.
And this is why the 12 personnel works though.
Yes.
Sometimes you need that extra protection if you're going to want to, like, if you want to hit that shot play, it's not always going to be sufficient to just leave your running back and your tight end in. Are you laughing because Chris already knows?
Yep. Yes, that's why I'm laughing. Yeah.
Dude's a beast.
Give me some of that memory you got, man. I'm running low. But yeah, great play all around, and the creativity and the use of personnel in this game was fantastic from Brian Daboll. One more offensive line play, and this is a play that I'm sure people have seen already on Twitter and everything. It's been much talked about, but the Spencer Brown pull and pancake, something you just absolutely love to see. Get that big athletic tackle running around the edge so he can put people on his ass and get Matt Breida into the end zone. Gilliam making a nice downfield block as well. This is another one. This is the kind of hey, this is the play that I think it's the same exact play actually that we looked at earlier, but mirrored. Where we're going the other way, maybe not, because there's only one guy pulling. I think we had two pullers in the last play, but
also I think there's a tight end on both sides of this play. You got the tight end on the right side pinning. That's Gabe
Davis actually, which I want to talk about him as well when we go to the other angle because he had a very good block here. Yeah. Like the offensive line, it does a good job here, sure. And you know, we got a cut block on the backside. You got Darrell Williams climbing to the second level to take care of CJ Mosley, and he does so all the way into the end zone. Really, he's a big part of that play and the reason why they scored there. So good on Darrell Williams for making a good play. And then Spencer Brown. Come on, this is what everybody wants to see out of this guy. I want to see this more often. And the reason I think we can see stuff like this more often is because of a guy like Gabe Davis, who's lined up kind of like in the slot, like almost in like a faux tight end type of a thing. And he's got a wide 9 right in front of him. And to be able to trust your wide receiver, your young wide receiver, to down block that end man on the line of scrimmage and keep him out of the play long enough for him to hit the edge, Matt Breida hitting the edge very well using that speed, and allow your offensive right tackle to go pull and hit somebody like that. That's so cool to be able to have that in a wide receiver that you can trust like that. And this was one of my favorite reps from him from the day.
Literally the only downside to that block is that it hits Mitch Morse, and Mitch Morse's guy almost gets Breida. If that isn't Breida, if that's Singletary or Moss, he might have got shoestring tackled. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's kind of close right there.
Yep. 5'2" as well.
To get away.
5-2 as well.
Diggs
Made a
gets a
business
piece of him, though.
decision
He
on
gets a
that
piece.
one.
That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, true. If he didn't give that little bit of a shoulder,
because he gets him off his line.
Yeah,
Gets him off that
because
angle.
if he didn't, I think he might have been able to get there. He was about a shoelace away as well. But yeah, the speed, the cuts, yeah, really good play. This is the kind of stuff that we've been wanting to see. Don't just run the zone reads. We're not a team that has an offensive line good enough to just run a regular zone read. We have to be a little more creative than that. And Dable was in this game.
Yeah, we need to see more of it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And since we've talked about play action so much, let's talk about the power of play action. And it was something that was just working all day. I have stats on it because it was such a difference. It was such a huge difference. And people are always asking, we're not running enough play action, are we? And, how do are we going to run more? So through the first 8 games, the Bills averaged 9 play action passes per game. They ran 17 in this game, and Josh got 305, I believe, 306 yards of his 360 or whatever, all on play action passes.
15 of 17.
15, too. 15 of 17.
That's so efficient.
Yeah.
That's crazy efficient.
Yeah.
Not just the 15 of 17 thing, but churning 15 to 300 yards. That's crazy.
Seriously.
That just shows how impactful it can be.
Yeah. And that's just, it's so effective, and it hasn't been done enough this year. And I think that was kind of getting back to what we were talking about last week, where it's like we're just trusting our guys to win one-on-one without doing anything schematically to try to help them out and try to help them get open. And they did it this week. But the thing I want to point out here, this is very early in the game too. So, the Jets don't really know that they're going to be expecting 17 play action passes this game yet. And just look at the way that the linebackers get completely pulled in. Look at these 3 guys. They are completely out of the play. And here goes Dawson Knox slipping underneath everybody to get wide open over there on the side. There's no one even close to him. I don't know why he slowed down either. Maybe he thinks he can make a move on someone. He should just.
He's probably trying to keep space from the sideline. Oh, you're saying right there?
Right there. I mean, I don't know why he's slowing down instead of trying to just give a stiff arm to CJ.
CJ Mosley effect, man. He's a scary dude.
Yeah, I guess so. He didn't want to lower that shoulder like he likes to. But yeah, this was just one of those plays where it just shows the power. They take like 3 or 4 steps, those guys, to bite on the play action here. And it's this, when this guy realizes it's not a run, he's way too late. He tries to get a hand on and change direction, and he's dead in the water already. So I love the play call here to sneak Knox across the field against the grain of the play action as well, to try to add to that even more of getting those guys away from where you want to go with the ball. So just a really creative play call, and this is the kind of thing that we've been missing a lot.
I'll talk on this a little bit more macro. I think the thing that you have to look forward to, big picture, is the fact that everyone else was open on this play.
Yeah.
It's not like Dawson is wide open, but in the future, if defenses are like, okay, you got to watch out for on play action, one of their tight ends leaking out. You got, I don't know who that is on the top side on that dig route.
Top is Diggs, bottom Sanders.
I don't know if that's an option or not, but either way, he's even. He is even with his man. Josh can hit him over the top. We know Josh can make any throw from the 50-yard line to get into the end zone. We know he can do that. So if he wants to hit that vert, he can hit that vert. But if it's an option route and Sanders gets on top of his guy and gets him to threatens the deep the deep ball, then he can just break it off, and there is absolutely no one underneath him because that linebacker level has already been sucked up for the run. And there's just no one to defend like that deep 10, 15-yard curl route.
Yep.
So no matter what the variance is to this play action play, there are options everywhere. There are only 3 routes ran, but there are options everywhere. And that's, to me, that's the macro of play action.
Yes, definitely. And this is, I think it's just I don't think anyone's pulling on the offensive line or anything like that.
No,
it's just
straight outside zone.
Yeah. And, Chris pointed it out. Mitch Morse kind of doing a little after the play action here. He goes, I'm going to turn around because I know that there's this guy on the backside that I'm going to go have to take care of.
That's lovely.
That's a really because I bet you they scheme it up like this to
I was
really
gonna
sell
ask.
it because Dawkins is just leaving. So that's Shaq Lawson over there. So Shaq's probably like, oh, this is definitely a run play over to that side. So he commits a little bit harder maybe, but just in case you send Mitch Morse around doing a little spin move to get back around. That's very, very clever.
I want to know if that's on Morse just being vet savvy or
I
if
can't
that's
imagine
Dable
because he's looking, he's even looking out that way. That's gotta be schemed up.
It looks planned. Yeah,
that's so smart. I really, really like that play. I didn't even notice that. So thank you, Chris Jenke, for pointing that out for me. Let's watch some more play action. This one is a little bit different, but also I like the line held their blocks pretty well in this one as well. This is the Gabe Davis catch, by the way. It was a great catch. I go all the way back here. It's just another standard kind of zone read look where everyone's just kind of pushing across. This time you have Dawson Knox coming across the field to try the other angle on this one. Yeah, this time you got Dawson Knox coming across the field to take care of that D end. Gabe kind of starts out with him, and then he goes and runs a route. Wow, Gabe starts blocking.
I was literally.
I'm just now realizing that Gabe starts this play blocking.
This
Shaq
route
Lawson.
Never fails. This route literally never fails. The chip leak has never once failed. I swear.
Yeah, I genuinely did not notice from the beginning of this play that Gabe Davis starts blocking Shaq Lawson on the end of the line of scrimmage.
That's how you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, and 30 is behind. I mean, it's not even the best throw from Josh. It's a little bit underthrown. It's absolutely the right decision because he was wide open. He was the most open guy on the field. Not a great throw, great adjustment, great play through contact. Even if he didn't catch it, we're getting the ball right there anyway. But why don't you just catch it anyway? Make yourself look good. Get on the highlight reel. Nate Burleson's talking about you doing your toe drag swag. So yeah, this was an awesome play, and it all starts with this play action here. So it's just another one of those things where it's look at the opportunities that this opens for you. Linebackers as well. Watch the linebackers again at the beginning of this one. All three of them. Sans this guy, I think he's not really a linebacker. This guy's more of a linebacker alignment, I guess. But he kind of just sits back a little bit and goes for digs because I think he's trying to play the block anyway. But every one of them, these three guys all get sucked into the play. And 5-2, I think, I don't even know if that's a designed rush from 5-2 or he just says, I have gotten sucked up and now I'm going to commit to the pass rush, which, if so, very smart play. But yeah, and then to give Josh the amount of time that he needs, Dion making a nice athletic play, by the way, on 52 to get his hips turned around and give Josh that extra little bit of time to step up in the pocket. So yeah, I'm just so happy with how the Bills were doing with this.
Yeah, no, it adds a wrinkle of creativity. There's not a lot that you can do just chilling in shotgun with 4 wide. There's, it's just the creativity that you're limited to is just what routes are you going to run?
Right.
It's just like, okay, we got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. What routes are we running? It's concept creativity. That's the best you can do. But with play action, it's just there's so much more room for creativity in this play with the leak route really shows it. And especially like this is a route that's typically ran by tight ends. But once again, like we talked about plenty of times and earlier, he's, our quasi tight end when we need one. This is kind of our quasi 12 personnel where we got Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis on the field. And
yep.
You keep Knox into block. You could do vice versa. Honestly, if you wanted, you could line them up the other way and just have Gabe a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage and then just have Knox leak out. There's just a lot of creativity to be had with play action. So I'm glad we're starting to see it a little bit more. I just want to continue to see it. Obviously, this is probably game plan dependent, and we probably wanted to do this against the Jets to see if we can do this against other teams. But as long as you see a slight uptick against other teams, that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. And, keep in mind as we're watching through all this film, it is the Jets. So it's not like this is an elite defense or anything like that by any means, or offense. But yeah, this is it's crazy to me, honestly, that they haven't run that much play action so far this season. Averaging nine play
That's
action
not a lot,
passes,
especially
per
with
game.
how often we're passing.
Right. We pass all the time, and we're just not running play action. We're just doing straight drops, no pre-snap motion, no play action, and they know that we're passing it, and they can defend it well if they know that we're passing it, especially if they're in zone coverage. Because, we have zone beaters, sure, but if you're in zone coverage, it sometimes takes a little bit longer to work through your reads. And Josh Allen does not have time to do that in just a standard straight drop back type of a play.
It's just been a little bit too simple, and that's why this was a breath of fresh air.
Yes, I'd agree with that. I think I have more play action. I do have more. This one 17. I thought was fun. This one was fun as well because this is not a play you would expect them to pass on ever, really. This is you're on the half-yard line, and they run play action, and it works pretty well. I mean, the linebackers are fully prepared now at this point in the game that play action is going to be happening, but they still get sucked in by a few steps. And specifically, I want to take a look at CJ Mosley on it. Hopefully we can see him here. CJ Mosley is the guy that the ball ends up going over, and he gets frozen just long enough. He takes a couple steps in, and that's all it takes, because now he's got to bail back and find out where he's going. And Josh is able to get that over his head into that gap. And that's the power play action. I mean, first of all, if they ran this play, it would not have worked at all, because the defensive line is getting push. And regardless of whether or not this is a pass set, I don't think I'm never very excited when the Bills are in a power run formation in a situation like this, because I almost never think it's going to work, and it almost never does. So to see them have the balls to go power formation, play action, and then drop it over the linebackers is just a ballsy call. I really like it.
But this is also going to open up the run out of this power run. That's why I wanted to see, I talked about this in the offseason when I was like, draft a tight end just for the sake of having Dawson Knox and another dude. That way we can have 12. We can operate out of 12 and 11 whenever we want, and we can keep teams guessing on defense. And this is the argument about being too simple or not. And it's just adding wrinkles. Something else, this is kind of just very random and anecdotal. I kind of think that play action is beneficial to Josh's skittish nature in the pocket. I feel like the fact that he's automatically on play action out of under center, you're guaranteed to have at least a 5-step drop. So you're going to have some depth on your drop. It's usually 7 steps. So you're guaranteed to have some depth on your drop, but also you're guaranteed to look at your running back, turn away from your protection, sell that handoff. And during that time, Josh has no idea what's happening in front of him. Yeah. And I kind of think that's a good thing for him, because in shotgun, he sees everything that's happening. And if he sees something that's happening that's bad, if he sees Quinnen Williams beating Mitch Morse that bad off the snap, I think he tries to roll out left or right too quickly. Yeah. And then he limits himself to half of the field. And because he sees it so late, he catches the tail end of it where Morse is actually anchoring, and he doesn't escape before that point where he's anchored him, and he can sit in the pocket and make a throw. It's probably a little anecdotal and really only applies to this play, but it's something I noticed, and probably something I'm going to keep tracking to see if it's something that continues. But I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I've always had a little bit of an issue with how quick Josh is to leave the pocket, but at the same time, that's how he makes plays. So I kind of take what I can get.
Yeah. And the way it kind of changes how the blocking is, it's not a traditional pass block anymore off play action. Everything kind of changes a little bit. So I think Josh likes it when there's a little bit of chaos going on around him, but it's like that organized chaos of there's guys flying behind me and in front of me and to the side of me. But as long as they're not coming directly straight up the center at me, he's usually okay. And he can kind of roll around in the pocket.
But this is what happened here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right up the middle.
They come straight up the middle like that. And because he has, that's even his second read. I think he quick snaps over this way. I don't know if that's to pull the linebackers even more. Let me take a look and see what's being run over on that side. That's Diggs. So he does look Diggs first. And I think he saw maybe that wasn't the best idea, or it might be to pull. I don't know.
It looked like he was running his route.
That's what I'm kind of saying.
It looked like he was like a control route almost.
Yeah. Is that just a dummy route with with a Moss dump off and a Josh bailout as a safety. It's very strange, but it works, and it's a great throw and a good route. Good enough route anyway. It's not like a fantastic route, but he gets his foot in the ground there nicely. Gabe Davis does, and makes a nice catch. Good Gabe Davis game. I love it when Gabe Davis has good ones.
Very subtle Gabe Davis game. I obviously I was half watching the game, but like afterwards I was like, holy shit, he had 100 yards. Like I really only remembered like a handful of plays.
He only makes big plays.
That is the thing.
That's is like last year he was only catching touchdowns.
Yep.
And then when he makes a play, it's usually like a damn. That was a big play.
It is.
But yeah, so there's just another one. Play action, man. I want to see more of it. I want to see the Bills run 50% play action. Okay, so now we're going to talk about AJ Klein a little bit because people on Twitter, and we all knew that this was going to happen. I think someone tweeted it out. So one of the beat writers or something like that. They tweeted out, AJ Klein's going to make some good plays, and then everyone on Twitter is going to say that we don't need Tremaine Edmunds anymore. And it happened. People were tweeting after this game, and it's like, why don't we just get rid of Edmunds and let Klein play the middle linebacker?
Because we're playing the Jets, guys.
Because he's so replaceable. Yeah, first of all, this is against the Jets. I'm going to show good and bad from AJ Klein here. But AJ Klein's a pretty good linebacker. He's been playing very well lately. And so I really don't have any issues with him kind of stepping in and playing the role, especially because Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott know how to use AJ Klein most effectively now, I think, and they've been using
like
Tremaine
the first
Edmunds
8 weeks of last year,
right? And this season they've been using Tremaine Edmunds more in a downhill type of a linebacker as well, and he does still drop into pass coverage sometimes. It's still not his forte either, but I'd say Klein is arguably worse in pass coverage, and we're going to talk about it. But this is kind of the first play where this is a good AJ Klein pass coverage play, and the reason it is because he kind of just lucks into this being a really good play and a good recovery from him. He totally bites on the play action here, so he's caught up underneath, and then he has to bail out, backpedal, and he's sitting right in the blind spot of Mike White. We might be able to see a little bit better from the other angle. So he's almost able to nab one here and get away with it, but he definitely bites hard on this run play. I definitely think he was pretty confident on that one. But right here, and you can see it on the broadcast angle even better. Mike White's line of vision, he cannot see AJ Klein hiding behind these two linemen here. So because of that, AJ Klein dropping back right into the correct area, and good vision, by the way, by Klein here. He kind of peeks back, sees that there's a guy behind him, and then drops back into that zone where he is. So very good recovery here. He does get a little bit lucky on sitting in the blind spot, but who cares if you get lucky? If you make a nice play, it doesn't matter. So
seriously.
But yeah, this was one of the good reps. He can do this. He can play well. He turned a little bit of a flub into a nice play.
Yeah, I think that little peek back into the routes is something I specifically want to see more from Edmunds. I think Edmunds is really quick to recover, obviously quicker to recover in scenarios like this. He has better athleticism. The difference is I feel like Edmunds kind of picks a spot. I feel like he predetermines it. He's like, okay, I got fooled. I'm going to pick a spot. I'm just going to drop into that zone. He doesn't really, once he gets fooled, he doesn't really identify where the crosses are behind him. I feel like I've said this before. And then drop to take away those crossers. Right. He just kind of drops for the sake of getting depth.
Yes.
After he's already bit on the run fake. And I mean, to a point, getting depth is winning half the battle, but you got to get depth in the right area of the field. Spot, yeah. So, like you said, Klein gets lucky here hiding in that blind spot, but he does identify where the crosser is, and he beelines it exactly to the passing lane. So, yeah, it's a little bit of luck, but it's still instincts. It's still smarts, So you got to give him that, and that's where the growth of Edmunds isn't going to compare to a 30-year-old in terms of instincts and football intelligence. He'll get there, but it's going to take time. And that's why people always talk about his age.
Yeah. Also, if AJ Klein doesn't tip this, is this just An interception.
Yeah,
by
I was
Taron
also
Johnson.
gonna say, like, this is also just
It's
not
also
where
just
he
not a
should go
good
with
pass.
the football. Like,
This is from the should have been first overall pick of the 2018 draft, guys.
we don't need to go there.
Yeah, this is just a bad throw. He was making bad throws all game, man. Bills were in his head. I love to see it. This was early game, by the way, as well. Moving on here. This is bad AJ Klein in pass defense. This time he gets a little bit too focused on a guy that I don't think this is man coverage. Is this? No, this is zone coverage. Levi points. That's zone coverage. But he drops back. Sure, he's reading the eyes of the quarterback going over this way, and I think he identifies this crosser coming underneath, and he says, "Oh, that's the play." And even gets a little bit of a pump fake for good measure to sell it a little bit extra, and he completely bites on it and opens up the window right behind him for a big chunk. This is a nice big chunk of yards that they get here on this one. So this is one of those plays where it's like, okay, yeah, he made one good play, but he also kind of messed that one up because he plays downhill. That's the way that he likes to play. He doesn't like going backward.
He trusts his instincts.
Yes, yeah, he's very instinctive, and he's going to do it. But I don't know if that's something Tremaine would have done. Maybe, but it's who's to say. But regardless, this was a completely on Klein as to why this was such a big gain and a successful play, because he's the backer that's supposed to be underneath the zone where that was thrown. Also, that guy did not get touched. I don't know if they blew the whistle dead right here, but I don't think anyone touched him at this point. And he did get up and try to start running, but Trey was heads up and made sure to go tackle him. But
we don't need to talk about the refs. Let's try to avoid the ref topic for another week. Hopefully.
Yeah, the refs were they made one or two bad calls. The phantom interception, stupid.
At least one every week, I swear.
Right.
My thing about this play is the main thing for Klein is, I mean, we're dropping 6 and rushing 5 and keeping a zone. So immediately Jerry Hughes and AJ Klein are in a bind. They are immediately in a bind because we are only dropping 6 and we're keeping 4 across that front second level and then 2 on the back level. There's just more grass for them to cover. So it's probably not the wisest idea to be instinctual and play downhill when you have a lot of grass to cover.
Yeah.
You're going to take away a play, but you're kind of just trying to minimize big plays when you're taking a chance in rushing 5 and also dropping into a zone. Yep. You kind of want to be conservative with your zones. At least that's my philosophy. I wouldn't play defense like that. I wouldn't fire my gun like that and try and take away a route, leaving another one wide open. But who is that vacated? It was Poyer who was on the blitz, so they drop Teron into a deep half, and then Hyde rotates over into Poyer's spot.
Yes, it's almost like deep thirds because Levi's dropping pretty hard too.
I think it's more of a cover 2 shell.
Yeah,
but
and
it
Levi
might
just
be a
ends up a little
4
high
shell with only 2 guys.
I don't know. It kind of seems exactly like 2 middle, 2 kind of longer hook to curl by the first down marker by the 2 corners, and then Taron I think drops back into that.
What was the Jets starting alignment? Could you go back to that just to see if they were heavy on one side? Because maybe this is a cover 6.
I mean,
it wouldn't make sense to only play halves on the side they're heavier to.
Right.
So it's definitely not cover 6 on the bottom side. Maybe it is cover 3. I don't know. Either way, it's tough to play zone with only 6 guys dropping.
Yes, and when, like you said, when you commit to something like that. By the way, one of the guys playing the zone is Jerry Hughes. That doesn't help either. So, but yeah, when you commit to a guy like that, he also, well, I don't know if he would have been early. He probably would have made a nice play if the ball was actually thrown there. But Mike White did a good job seeing that he was coming over, and credit Mike White. This was a good read. He made some nice plays, I will say. He made a lot of shitty plays. I'm talking about Mike White now. He made a lot of shitty plays, but he also made some nice ones. This was one of them. Anyway, let's move on. More AJ Klein. This is another play, I think, where he gets caught on this one. I don't really know. He just takes a bad angle after the catch. So he's not in a bad position right now, obviously. You want to keep the guy in front of you. He kept the guy in front of him. There's a guy coming over top that he would have been covering had he stayed in his zone.
He's in a good spot,
Yeah, he's in a good spot. He's playing his zone really well. But then once the ball is thrown and caught, he is just taking a really bad angle. I'm not really sure what Matt Milano saw. I think he maybe thought the ball was going deeper than that. But he takes a bad angle and it ends up going pretty far down the field on this one. So
yeah, he shouldn't be. To me, it's like the angle immediately once he identifies the route.
Yeah.
In the first place, like he's not fast enough to go straight at the ball right there. Like he's got to get wider than that. He's got to force him to either cut back to the side he came from, or I don't know, go through him. But yeah, Klein's not fast enough to just go straight down the hashes like he tried to do.
Yeah, and it's like he thought he could meet him at the catch point when he wasn't even close.
No.
But yeah, he also did kind of get locked on. He identifies, he looks,
he
sees
that route,
but then he kind of shuffles out and then never really gets back in.
You're right. Those couple of that shuffle a little bit to the right, that's probably what took away his angle more than anything.
Yeah.
Because he identifies that route right there and he's still shuffling to the right a little bit. That more than anything is probably what took him out of position.
Yeah. And I think it's Mike White also kind of rolling a little bit that way, moving a little bit that way. It gets Milano moving too.
Yeah.
So, I probably wasn't intentional. He's probably just sliding to the open spot in the pocket. Because there is
because
Jerry Hughes was, getting some good penetration over there. But yeah, it's another one of those things where Tremaine Edmonds, I think, would have made this tackle. I think that's one I could say a lot more confidently than the other play where it's like, oh, maybe Tremaine would have, maybe wouldn't have. I think Tremaine Edmonds makes this tackle, and because that's exactly what you're supposed to do in a zone like this. Keep the guy in front of you, have him catch it in front of you, and tackle him.
At the very least, I think Tremaine really slows him down. Obviously,
yeah.
I know Tremaine has his
Matt Milano to get there, or I think Levi's the one flying in at the end.
I know Tremaine has his issues with missed tackles. He's definitely cleaned it up a fair bit this year, but I mean, at the very least, he's getting a pretty sizable hit on him and probably slowing him down enough to negate the 8 yards after the catch, 10 yards after the catch. It's probably more like 5-3.
Okay, what else we got? AJ Klein, good. We're back on AJ Klein, good. This is the way that AJ Klein should almost always be playing. I think I have consecutive plays here, so it's going to be 2 sideline and 2 end zone because these were back-to-back plays. AJ Klein playing downhill. That's how AJ Klein should play every rep if he can, but he can't. You got to play pass defense sometimes. He's very good at this, and he showed that he's very good at this. With Seahawks game is when he really first showed that off last year. And ever since then, they've been using him in this fashion where it's go downhill and hit somebody. And this was a really good play. He had a couple plays like this where he just kind of busts through the line like this. And we've seen Tremaine make these plays too, but it's nice to see that your 30-year-old backup linebacker can also do this. But yeah, this was just a great play here. I think it's a loss of 2, maybe 3. And it's good recognition, up to the ball quick, and then getting on with it a little bit.
I'm very intrigued with what the Jets' right tackle is doing here. It's almost like he looks at Klein, like really stares him down, then kind of decides he doesn't want to block him. Other than that, I like how Klein's like he's getting in front of that blocker, but also staying right behind the other side of that zone blocker. So the right guard, he lets him flow right out in front of him, but he also kind of tries to make sure that he can sneak in front of and get skinny in front of that right tackle. But yeah, very precarious movement by that right tackle.
Yeah, I think he maybe is like, oh, I got to get AJ Klein, but then he's like, oh, Matt Milano's here. I got to get Matt Milano. And then he ends up kind of getting Matt Milano in the end, but not really what he needed to be doing. It's the Jets. And then this is the very next play. And this is another pass cover. He probably could have gotten called, honestly, illegal touching or pass interference, illegal contact or pass interference. I guess he's at the line of scrimmage, so maybe not. I don't know. But regardless, he overcommits. This is man coverage. because he's going right with that running back all the way. He gets a little bit too excited going to the outside, and then his hips are not turned, and he is not the kind of guy with fast hips. So consecutive plays, sure, he got -2, -3 on the last play, but then he gave up, plus 17 on this play. So back-to-back wise, definitely not an ideal situation.
Yeah, this is the beauty of the angle route. I mean, it looks like a flat route until it isn't. I mean, This is how like Alvin Kamara makes his money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm curious. Would that be holding? Because he definitely gets that arm on the other side of him. Definitely tugs a little bit and definitely helps out a little bit with slowing down the route. Really almost undercuts it too. Yeah, it's really he almost gets that left hand on it. But yeah, that's the nature of him playing downhill and trusting his instincts, because if you trust your instincts, you're going to be wrong every now and again. And he clearly thinks that this is a flat route out to the right of the Jets formation, and he just angles it right in front of him and then gets beat. That's what happens if you trust your instincts too much. And that's why sometimes it's nice to have the conservative play from Tremaine Edmunds, where he's not always taking a chance and he's not always being too risky. He's kind of, some people want him to take risks and make big plays, but taking risks and making big plays also comes with allowing big plays. So yeah, it's kind of like the living with what you get with Josh Allen. You take the high highs and have to suffer with the low lows. That's kind of what you get with AJ Klein and his instincts. But that's why I've grown so akin to Tremaine Edmunds. Although he's shown some areas that he needs improvement, he's played very conservative and within himself. And it shows to be someone that can grow and kind of fill in those gaps and then improve and then start to trust those instincts even more. And then the athleticism and the instincts mesh and kind of combine and create the super player that we're kind of hoping for. But obviously that's years to come.
Yes, and that's the thing too is Tremaine has so much potential to get better. Like, sure, maybe is AJ Klein able to play close to a level that Tremaine Edmunds is against the Jets? Yes, because it's against the Jets, and because he's 30 years old, has a wealth of experience and knowledge of the game of football, and also is familiar with Sean McDermott's system. He's played in that for multiple years as well now. So. Sure, he's the perfect backup linebacker for this defense, in my opinion. He can play either position because he knows the defense well enough. He's athletic enough to get it done in either spot. But there's going to be plays that he messes up on, and here's a couple. I wanted to just watch the right tackle here mess up a little bit. This is the end zone angle of that play. But then it's it's another one of that kind of taking the good with the bad, I guess. But with this one, we don't have to, because with Tremaine Edmunds, we get more good and less bad.
Yep.
So anyway, for all those crazy people, I know no one in our chat would do it because our chat is very smart. But there were some people on Twitter who thought that getting rid of Edmunds for Klein was smart. It's not. Anyway, let's move on to a little bit of defensive dominance. I just wanted to talk. I couldn't pick an MVP. The MVP is the whole defense. Everyone played well. I wanted to pull a couple of Rousseau plays. I didn't. I had too many plays. Phillips had a pretty nice game. It's the Jets, so everyone should have a good game, and everyone did. When you're the best defense in the NFL, that's what you should look like. I don't even know what order I put these in. Oh, Ed, we're going with Ed first. This was like one of my favorite play. First of all, center just doesn't block him for whatever reason. I'm not going to complain about it, but Ed is going to thank you for that opportunity. And my goodness, Mike White's feet leave the ground. he is flying through the air when he gets hit by Ed Oliver here, and things you love to see. This was almost a fumble. It got called a fumble on the field.
It was so close.
Yeah, I didn't know the rule. Gene Steratore had to tell me during the broadcast that if he has control of the football in his hand and it moves the distance of like one frame forward before the ball is out, it's an incomplete pass. So they got the one frame, I guess, but it was real close. And Ed kind of gets that arm up a little bit to hit Mike White's arm as he's going for it. I'll see if I can slow it down a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to block Ed Oliver, you will pay for it. And if you don't, your
Yeah.
quarterback will. So, yeah, just one of those plays.
Yeah, I don't have much to add on this play. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just Ed
just
Oliver killing
they're
someone.
just not blocking Ed Oliver. You gotta block Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
No, I literally took a break from work because I was like, is this a fumble? Like I had to just like turn and watch. I was just like, this is really close. And apparently it's one frame close.
But also, I love what they're doing with the personnel here. You got AJ Klein up on the line of scrimmage in a 2-point. You got Mario Addison up on the line of scrimmage in a 2-point. You have Ed Oliver at like a 1-tech. And then you've got your wide nines and Matt
Milano, too.
So, I mean, like, F.A. Obata is on the outside as well. He could play inside instead of Mario Addison if you wanted to. Like, I love what they're doing with the personnel here to shake things up. And the offensive line seemed very confused. It doesn't look like they had no idea. They had no idea what was going on.
Who's rushing, who's dropping.
Yeah, that's why they didn't block the one guy they probably should have.
Yeah.
This might be it's not. Who is this? Oh, this is the Micah Hyde fumble. This is just a full show of dominance here from Micah, and really it's kind of his fault that the catch was made in the first place, and then he says, oh shit, that was my fault, let me go get that ball, because he kind of gets sucked up into the zone. We can't see it from this angle here, so I gotta go back. But Micah Hyde is playing kind of like a low safety here in kind of like a robber position. He's kind of roaming around a little bit, but he's playing in the middle of the field here and gets beat a little bit with Mike White's eyes, and he hits that zone. And really just because he's trying to respect this route coming across, which I get. I'm fine with that. And he just doesn't feel the presence of the two guys over top. It's a nice play by Mike White. Another play by him where he does a good job of reading the zone defense, finding the gap, and delivering it to the place that it needs to be. Good play design too by the Jets. But then Micah just comes in and takes the ball away. I mean, this is when, first of all, I'm screaming the whole time this play is happening. I'm very excited when I see the fumble come out, and then I see Micah Hyde, who just stripped the ball, go and jump on the ball, which is it's just such a cool thing when that happens, when the guy who strips it can get him himself. It's defensive dominance.
I gotta say, I don't really blame Micah all that much for the catch in the first place. Like you kind of said a little bit, it's a lot of just like good play design. It's kind of just fortunate what we called and what they called. Like there was just a massive window right there. Yep. Like you said, Micah Hyde, they drop into cover 3. Micah Hyde is the one who rotates down into that second level, into that linebacker level, and he's responsible for that hook curl area in the middle of the field. And because of that, he has to respect that running back route that's in front of him until he clears off into the flat side. And until he clears off into the flat side, he has to respect it. He just has to.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you'd like to see whoever that is on the flat, on the bottom side, just take it earlier. That way, Micah can go drop deep onto the right side. But like Micah would be leaving his zone. Like that is totally leaving your zone responsibility. If you're crossing the left hash and going all the way to the right hash, like he's supposed to stay really at the most middle of the field for that cover 3 look. But he came back and he recovered. Like I'm not expecting him to get to that ball, but he got to the ball after the catch was made and ultimately made the play and got the ball. So yeah, it's a really great play, and he stayed within his 111th. In my opinion, he did his responsibility on this play and some.
Yeah, now that you say it, I'll agree with it, because I think I was probably a little hasty with my assumption there, but he is playing his zone, and I do think it's more so the play design is very good to kind of high-low the middle of the field like that. Yeah, and a good play by Mike White to read it, and then Davis loses the football.
Yeah, he didn't play as well as I thought he would. I feel like
he had a couple good plays, but it's also we have like the best secondary in the league, so it's kind of tough when you're going against that. More defensive dominance, more Micah. Micah had a really good game. Both of the safeties did. Trey White had a fantastic game. Levi Wallace also had a very good game. I really can't say it. Taron Johnson had a good game. Like all of these guys are just so good. And I like this one just because Micah, the speed of recognition is instant. And it's another one kind of like we saw with Trey White. I think from last week or a couple weeks ago, he's not really looking at the quarterback. He's looking at the wide receiver, and he knows the play based on what the wide receiver is doing, and makes a break for the football before he even knows that the ball is in the air, and just makes a really nice play on it.
It's like one of those aggressive, like, no, this is cover zero. This is man. This is man across the board. This is cover zero. I was gonna say this is kind of one of those like hybrid cover 4, cover zeros where you have your linebackers where they're like reading run pass, and if it is pass, they get the hell out of there and they get back to the second level. But it's really only Milano there, I think, who's really getting back out and getting to the second level. But yeah,
Klein,
it is Klein. Okay. Either way, so it's really only one of them that's getting back and out to that second level after getting in on that run fake. But this is man across the board. Like the Bills are bringing the house on this one. They don't really care what's happening at the second level. You can see that the safeties aren't all that deep, and they're lined up with those 2 slot receivers.
Look at because it's a mirrored play on the offense too.
Yeah.
And look at the synchronization of the defensive backs all playing their guys almost exactly the same. Trey takes a little bit more of an inside step than Levi does. But the two safeties are like almost perfectly in sync when they start their break. That is really, really impressive. And that, that's something you get when you have the best safety duo in the league. They might be the 2 like highest graded, if not 2 of the top 3 or 4, because they're just playing completely out of their minds this season.
This play goes to show it. The fact that you can just dial up cover 0 and trust both of your safeties to man up slot wide receivers. Yes, I know it's the Jets. We probably shouldn't be poo-pooing
but even
the
still,
Jets so much. But either way, like safeties covering slot wide receivers is not easy across the landscape of the NFL. And we have 2 guys that can do it regularly, not just against the Jets.
These are good slot wide receivers too. I think Braxton is his first name, Berrios. Braxton Berrios, he's an underrated slot receiver. He's a Cole Beasley light, if you will. And then Jamison Crowder on the other side is very good. That's still 82, right? Is Jamison Crowder?
I don't know. Yeah, that is James. Yeah, Chris. I just didn't know. I didn't know if they had Elijah Moore on the slot. I really like.
No, it was Jamison Crowder in the slot, but Jamison Crowder has torched us before. So to trust your safeties with guys like that can run routes like that is pretty awesome.
Appreciate this, Zachary King. Apparently, the Titans safeties are graded higher.
Kevin Byard is maybe not. Who's the other one?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to. It's not Vaccaro anymore.
No, I don't know, Chris.
Zachary, whoever's got it. Yeah, like
anytime I don't know someone, I'm just gonna
put that second Titan safety in there. It'll ring a bell for us. I don't know why I can't remember it.
But anyway, this was a really good play by Micah and by both safeties, really. And there's other plays like that too in these plays that I really like. This one's Trey White. This is a Trey White highlight. Is the way that he bails off of this. I think any quarterback, I wouldn't blame any quarterback for reading this the way that Mike White reads this, because they invert the coverage.
Yeah.
Safeties are playing down, the corners are playing high, and fair to, he probably thinks it's cover 2 here. Or maybe cover 4, but probably not. He probably thinks that this is cover 2 because he thinks Trey White is going to be covering the slot guy coming across. Micah, for whatever reasons, playing down here, but then you got Levi Wallace in a high spot and Jordan Poyer in a high spot. I think he thinks these are the 2 high safeties on the play. But Poyer comes down to rob the inside route, and Trey White is the one that's dropping back here. And really, really good coverage, really good job by Trey to kind of sell for as long as he could that he is trying to cover that, doing a little shuffle before he looks back and identifies where that wide receiver is. He doesn't know the ball isn't coming to that guy until right here, and the ball's already out in the air. And then he has a chance to go run the route himself and make a nice, easy interception. And also, this is a good throw if the coverage was read correctly. I think this ball is placed in a very, very good spot.
Let's your guy and run after the catch.
Yeah, I think he would have been able to catch that and run a mile, and that's more on this one. So it's just really good coverage, and very, very happy that this was the coverage call on this, and that Poyer didn't screw anything up. But yeah, just watching Trey White go to work.
Yeah, no, this is a very interesting coverage because, like you said, on that right side it's inverted, but on the left side it is not.
Well, it's the corners on both sides, but on one side the corner, Levi Wallace, and it's because of the motion.
Oh, it's because
they motion Davis across. So originally I think it was just going to be a regular invert with the safeties, because originally Micah Hyde is lined up inside, and he probably was just going to go out and play the flat and have Levi drop. But because of the motion, he has to slide out to get out to that outside a little bit better.
It's just very interesting because the way everyone drops it, it looks like a cover 4, and
right?
I've never really seen an inverted cover 4. But I mean, Poyer does a great job here. If you see someone doing that, like, you have 4 guys deep, like, you're allowed to take away that inside in-cutting route right there, and you have White to replace you. And it worked perfectly because, I mean, that's definitely what Mike White saw. Like, even if it's White or Poyer taking whoever that dig route is at the 30-yard line, either way, there's a vacancy behind them. And like you said, it's the right decision. It's just disguised very well. It's a very unique coverage.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's intended. It feels like it is intended for the safeties to have the low zone, but because this guy's wheeling all the way down the field, Micah goes with him. And Poyer is taken underneath because they have a little bit of free reign. So yeah, I just really love this. I just love watching Trey White play because he's just so smart, and the way he reads the football, reads the quarterback, and reads the wide receivers it's second to none, man. Really he's at any given point probably the smartest guy on the field.
Yeah.
We can move on to more dominance. This is a Jordan Poyer highlight. I got everybody in the defensive backfield on this one. And this is just a smart play. And they talked about it in the broadcast as well, but I'll take it back so we can focus on him right from the start here. Jordan Poyer is here kind of on the end of the line of scrimmage. And he sees kind of play action. He sees a tight end leaking. So first of all, good recognition to see that tight end leaking when you're on the line of scrimmage like that, and take care of him. But then he drives him out of the back of the end zone. That's probably pass interference, defensive holding. It's maybe something, but he's not in the line of sight of the ref. That's the only guy that's going to call this. Maybe this guy down here is taking a peek as well. But he pushes him out of bounds, and you can see clear as day that ref throwing his hat down, saying that guy's out of bounds and he can't catch the football anymore. Oh, I did it, didn't I?
You did do it, but it's okay.
But yeah, so we're almost there. Wellness check, play action, Klein, defense. Here we are. But yeah, it's just super smart to have the awareness to go in, make sure that guy is pushed back and out of bounds, because now he can't make a play at all. And Mike White is in trouble here, so he has to get rid of the football, and he just has to throw it away, kind of out of the end zone. So really, it's not only do you have, I think that actually Klein does a good job here of taking away the kind of dump off guy. So a tight end or an offensive lineman, I can't even tell.
I think that's a fullback.
Oh, fullback. Okay. But anyway, heads up play by Poyer, and just taking away a touchdown here, basically, because that's the only possible route that this is realistically going to get thrown to. You got Mike on the backside, good coverage, and then Taryn, I think, as well, just kind of hanging out in the middle. He's got nobody to cover. So even if Poyer didn't push him out of bounds, you got 2 guys over there. It's just it was just complete dominance.
Yeah, this play screams 111th to me, just like literally everyone doing their job. I really like how Epinesa tied up that fullback before. Yeah. So like he just completely occupied him, and Klein is right there to replace him once Epinesa is right back to hurrying the quarterback and ultimately gets the hit and knockdown, apparently. But yeah, everyone's just doing their job. Like you said, that Micah Hyde right on the tee in Jets. That's a tough throw. Like going against the grain, that throw is just not going to be made.
Not
but
a lot
even
of guys
if it
can
is,
make that.
Micah Hyde's right there anyways.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, I mean, Tehran's just looking for work.
Yeah.
and he's in the right spot. Like
Yeah.
he knows, okay, flowing this way. Like if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be right here, and he's right in the right spot. Everyone's doing their job, and then the guys on the back side of the play, they're playing the run the right way.
Yep.
Like you gotta respect that, and they're all playing the run really well. And yeah, no, everyone's just doing their 111th on this play. Even Vernon Butler. Where's Richard Rush?
Even Vernon Butler. Vernon Butler actually has made some nice plays. It's the Jets. And he made some nice plays against the Jags as well.
How many times we should have, like, before we started, we should have done take a shot every time we say it's the Jets.
Oh, I don't want to kill anyone.
I don't want to either, but like I'm curious how many times. Yeah. Chris Jenke, how many times did we say it?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, but it's yeah. Butler makes a nice play. The whole defense, the whole game was playing just so well. Is Jordan Phillips trying to like hold 62? I think he is. He's trying to pull 62 away so that he can't get to the linebackers. I like that. That's a penalty, but I like it. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't think there's anything more we could really say about this game. Like there were other plays that I could have pulled if I wanted to. Like I said, Greg Rousseau had a nice couple of plays. He had a good pressure on Mike White, kind of coming around the outside. I think he might have been kind of escaping the pocket a little bit or dropping back a little extra, but he had a good couple of pass rushes. He had a really nice couple of run stops. He's been playing super solid. Ed Oliver probably could have made a whole thing about him again, but we've talked about him enough. You guys know how I feel about him. The whole defense, it's like truly, this will probably be the best defense the Bills ever have. It's that good of a defense where it's like, I don't know if this is repeatable. I don't by many of this is probably maybe like a top. I don't know. I don't want to put any kind of number on it. There've been a lot of really good defenses, but this one's up in that upper echelon. If they continue to play like this and through the playoffs, they're going to be in that conversation of top, we'll say 25, maybe 15 defenses in the history of the game.
I talked all season about getting that 2019 Bills defense back, and we got more. I mean, now at this point, it's about getting the 2020 offense back. If we can marry those two, like, it's over.
Oh, yeah. And with the play action coming back, I mean, that's the kind of the offense that they were running last season. You know, they were running a lot of play action. They were stretching the field vertically and horizontally. So there's potential there. And, we know it's the same personnel for the most part. We lost Brian Winters. Ouch. What are we going to do? And we gained Emmanuel Sanders, so it's virtually the same route. And we, our offensive line plays weird, but I think Darrell Williams is playing okay at the right guard position. Spencer Brown is playing much better than I think any of us expected.
Oh yeah.
Besides those that had a lot of faith in him from the beginning, there were a few. Pierre, Casey were both guys that were pounding the drum for him.
For sure.
We didn't see it.
We saw some of it. We just didn't expect it this early.
He was an athletic shell, where it's like this guy is a great athlete. He can go out there and give it his all and make some nice plays with his athleticism. But we didn't see the technique. And his technique's been better, and he's been able to win with his athleticism too. So, yeah, very, very happy about them kind of turning it around and getting back to. I think after that Jags game, they really kind of sat down and said, what do we need to be the kind of offense that we want to be, and what do we have to do in order to do that? And I think they did it. And like it's the Jets, take a shot. But if it's a warm up, kind of a refresh to get yourself back into the groove of things, then that's fine with me. And I'd like to see them continue this. They have a tougher opponent on the offensive side next week. Defensive side still shouldn't be too much of an issue. They should be able to move the ball pretty easily against the Colts. But yes, they got to stop Carson Wentz in a tough run game. Carson Wentz is having a pretty sneaky, solid season. And they're going against probably the best running back in the league. Yeah. And one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best. You could maybe say the Browns are better, but that's about it. So
I'm definitely intrigued to see what we're going to do on run defense. If we're going to treat them like we treated the Titans, because I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can treat them like got to stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And then, leave everything in the second level open because of play action. I hope we don't do that, but we might have to. Like, I know we're probably not going to have Star We don't know if we're going to have Tremaine Edmonds for this game. I'm very intrigued to see what the defensive game plan is. I'm a little bit less confident about the Bills offense going against this Colts defense. I actually like the Colts defense a decent bit. I think they're pretty good. They were really good last year. They're definitely underperforming this year, but they still have talent. I think this is a matchup that I circled preseason as game we could lose.
I mean, it's a team we played in the playoffs last year, and it was a close game. It was a different quarterback, but I think Carson Wentz is playing just as good, if not better, and he has more versatility than Phillip Rivers. He can run the football. He's got a much stronger arm, so there's a lot of things that he can do that Phillip Rivers couldn't. And Michael Pittman's playing a great season as well. He's kind of really turning himself into a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, I know. And also Trey over the years has had issues with more physical, big wide receivers. So this is going to be a test for him. Obviously, I mean, he's probably not going to say anything like that. You know, he's probably one of the most confident cornerbacks in the league. He should feel like he's going to win this battle 100% of the time. But it's one I'm going to be watching because ever since he got beat up by AJ Green multiple years in a row, I've always had my eyes on Trey White versus big wide receivers. So, there's a lot of sneaky little player matchups. Ultimately, the team matchups. This is just a game that I've been really excited for since obviously seeing the schedule come out. This is one of those ones I felt like we could drop, and we've dropped more than I think we should have to this point. So I'm very curious to see how the Bills will respond to the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting to that part of the schedule that's most exciting, where there's competition. Where it's not like, not like there wasn't competition earlier, with the Chiefs and Titans, that was the premier, first really exciting.
There were a couple of blocks in the schedule.
Yeah. Where it's like, Steelers again. That's a good game. And then, you got your Chiefs, your Titans. And then now we're getting to a cool section where we got the Colts, the Saints, the Patriots, the Bucks. So I think, or maybe a little bit later, the Bucks, I can't remember, but Patriots Monday Night Football is coming up after the Thanksgiving game, I believe, and that's a big game. So we got 3 games that are going to be really exciting.
Those Patriots games. Who would have thunk that we would be in this position where those games are really important now?
Yeah. Well, we didn't think they were going to be as good as they were. Mac Jones is playing very smart football, and I hate it because I knew that he was. They're doing exactly. We're doing exactly what we thought they were going to do. It's Mac Jones making smart decisions and moving the football, and the defense playing well, and that's
all you have to do. That's all you have to do to stay 9-7. Obviously, now I guess it's 10-7.
Yeah.
But that's all you have to do to get into the playoffs. You just have to have competent quarterback play. Don't make mistakes, and that's what the Patriots couldn't do last year with Cam Newton. So it's night and day now. All you need is that guy who can manage the game, and that's all he's doing. And if he can grow from there, something we're going to have to be concerned about for the years to come. But I think our defense has got them under wraps. I'm pretty confident for that first Patriots game. Is that one at home? Do you know if the first one's at home?
I think it's Monday night at home.
Yeah, it's the away game that I'm a little bit more
me too
about.
Yeah, me too. As long as we're wearing, a uniform combo that Josh is good in, I think we'll probably be okay. No white on blues or anything like that. We'll do a little ad read like I do at the end of the show every time because I forget to do it in the middle. We're sponsored by NordVPN. If you guys go to thebffvpn.com, you can get yourself a deal on NordVPN, 2-year deal for 70% off. It's a fantastic deal. If you want to protect your internet and your privacy the way Josh Allen protects the over on passing yards when he's wearing white on white. That was a long one, but he always hits the over when he's wearing white on. I think he averages 360 yards. There's an account now on Twitter that gives stats.
I saw it. No, I understood what you were alluding to completely. If anyone's not following it, give them some love.
It's funny.
I think, someone put it out there I didn't know this is something that I needed, but I need it. And I agree. Completely.
Yeah. So he's not good in the white on blues. In the white on whites, elite. He's also good in the blue on whites. That's what they're wearing this weekend. So feeling pretty good. We just
got to see the red on whites one of these days.
Red on white.
Isn't it illegal or something? I thought there was something like that where it's never going to happen.
There's weird rules around it that I don't understand. I think hopefully they'll loosen it up a little bit when they bring the helmet rule back. which I think is next year. So if they don't bring back the 90s Bills uniforms next year, we riot. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. We had a good amount of people in here the whole time. Chat was buzzing a little bit. Richard Forbes came in late, and his comments were kind of funny throughout.
Because he was a little late.
Show. So, Richard, when you get here, thanks for sticking around, man. Thanks for coming in late and watching through it. So we'll be back next week. We're back in this new time, probably more around 8:15 every Wednesday, and hopefully we're talking about a Bills win over the Colts. So until then, go Bills.
Go Bills.